Welcome to the Global Emerging Innovation Summit 2021. I thank and congratulate the government of Victoria for hosting this interesting summit. I've gone through the sessions, through the themes, through the sectors it is covering. I think it is the need of the hour to focus on innovations. I was thinking what I should talk about. Should I get to be very sector specific or should I move to doing something which covers innovations across sectors? Holding a master's degree in innovation and change, I thought it was more pertinent to talk about the why and how of innovation. So, I'm going to talk about how innovations work. It's a 10-minute masterclass. I'll try to do it maybe in around 10 minutes about how you get to doing innovation. What is innovation? What are the rules for innovation? So, let's walk into it. The first thing is innovation is disruptive. Innovation is not incremental. For my country, I consider Mahatma Gandhi as one of the biggest innovators. He was fighting the might of British, the military wherewithal, the brute force, and look at what it did. He used peace to fight the non-violent, and we won. Now I'm going to talk about various sectors, how they've innovated. So look at telecom. It started from the old system of trunk calls where you needed hours to sit to get connected. Then came the landlines, and then came the mobile phones. The complete innovation happened in the sector. Look at television, huge long antennas, set-top box. So what we are seeing is as we move from analog to digital, we're actually innovating. Huge libraries, books, and what finally happened was Kindle. You didn't need to have or carrying hundreds of books in a library. It's just a handy Kindle that carries hundreds of books, and you can read it anytime you want. There's a very classic fight that happened between Kodak and Fuji on the quality of prints and the price. And I give this example always that both were spending millions of dollars on marketing to have the market supremacy and leadership. But what finally happened was Canon came out with digital photography. They were irrelevant. So, what does innovation mean to me? Being a person trained in innovation and holding a master's degree, I get to the academic side as well, besides advising companies and the government on innovation. First, we need to answer a question that has not been answered before. It's not about reinventing the wheel, but finding a new use of a wheel, new way to look at things. So, the levels of innovation. So, you could be a product innovation, which is, as I talked to you about telecom. There's a process innovation, Uber. There's a system innovation, if you look at Toyota. Innovation solves a problem. It solves a problem like this is a problem typically in rural parts of the lower and middle income countries. Transporting water, solar vehicles, Arvind Eye Care System, and I want you to go and look up this wonderful organization. So, where cataract surgery was expensive, not affordable, and it happens mostly in the lower income families, they perform a cataract surgery as $50 and an intraocular lens at $2. It's the cheapest in the world, and not only the cheapest, it's the best. So they innovated end to end, not only the process of surgery, but also the intraocular lens. So one of the things of innovation is also you transform the entire end to end. This is a very interesting example from India. When we conducted the nuclear test, the early start of this century, and what happened was in Baku, we couldn't import the stuff. So what we did was we built up our own Mars orbiter mission at 74 million. Look at the comparison. US built Maven at 671 million. We took 15 months versus 5 years of US. We had 1 ton payload versus 2.5 ton. The US has 1 ton payload versus 2.5 ton. We had 15 kg of scientific instrument versus 65 kg on Maven. And the best part, we landed on the first attempt. So this is what I call the Mars orbiter mission, the MOM model of innovation. And what it teaches us, It changes the sector forever. There is a mass impact when you look at innovation. It's cost effective, it's asset light, it's fast and timely, it is precise. The best part is it stimulates further innovation. And look at a movie, Gravity was made for 100 million, and we actually landed on Mars at 74 million. That's breakthrough innovation. So the disruptive innovation in telecom sector, this is what I'll give you as an example from India. We had very expensive call rates. Most of the world still has expensive call rates. Then came the disruptive thing, pay per second. So you pay for the number of seconds you make a call. People thought that was a disruption, but the real innovation came is unlimited calling. You only pay for the data. So what actually happened is transform the entire telecom sector. So what is the purpose of innovation? Total disruption. I visited Medellin in Colombia, and this is the change. And I want you, those who are innovating as entrepreneurs in the government, is to study the city. When I was traveling there, people told me, "Don't go. It's one of the most, uh, you know, um, cities not to be visited." Actually, what I was told was the world's most dangerous city is to live in, and actually, it left Israel and New York to be one of the most innovative cities for 2 years. So need to study what drives in innovation, and countries can be innovative. What's the checklist for innovation? When you are into innovative products, the first thing is it a novel idea? Is it affordable? Is this solving a problem? Is this sustainable? Can it be delivered timely? Is it going to disrupt the status quo? If you check have ticks on this checklist, you probably are in innovation. So what's the process of innovation? First, you identify your problem. Then you generate an idea, test the idea, increase the utility, emphasize on simplicity, and scale up to replicate. That's the process of innovation. What's not innovation? So if you look at this, the first one was innovation, and so was the last one. It was a game changer, but rest of the things in between were incremental changes. Same way, bulb was an innovation, rest is improvement. This automobile was an innovation, rest all has been just like improvements, in functionality and technicality, but nothing close to innovation. So, what does innovation mean to you? Do not confuse innovation with execution. Just knocking off few processes, it doesn't innovate. Innovation affects the entire value chain. As I gave you the example of the Arvind eye care system, right from intraocular lens to surgery, everything was innovated. Innovation is key to circumvent the constraints of resources, constraints of time, constraint of a major challenge impacting a large section of the society. Culture plays an important role, and I will dwell on this in the subsequent slides. Having studied this in academia, let me tell you it plays a very important role in terms of the culture, and that decides innovation. Now, this is the most important part if you are a leader of an organization. If you run a government and you want your government to be innovative, if you want your company to be. So, there are four cultures: the clan culture, the hierarchy, the market, and advocacy. The culture that works the best for innovation is advocacy cultures. You can take risk. There are no hierarchies. They focus on innovation. The moment you get into the rigid hierarchies and things, which are more rigid in terms of system following, they are not conducive to innovation. So, while as you may have all the other parts, but the culture that works the best is where you get flexibility and freedom to act, focus and differentiation, and it is not focusing on stability and control, not an internal focus and integration. If you do these two, you are not into innovation. So we need to innovate the way we think. It's not just about the need, it's about the aspirations. Look at this work cultures, the workspace of IDEO, the likes of Google. So you can see the flexibility. Now, I have visited almost 35, 40 countries and keenly observed United States. It still tops innovation. Why does it do? So I tried to, put that in form of my assessment of what is needed to be an innovative country. So there is no hierarchy. You can see when if you work in the United States, if you spend time in the US, there is no hierarchy, no formalities. pretty informal. Flexibility in approach, own time, weekends. You cannot tie down innovators to time slots that you come at office at 9 and you leave at 6. No, that's not the way it works. You need to give them the flexibility, availability of capital, meritocracy based, and then failure is not a taboo. If you attach too much importance to success, you cannot be an innovator. This is my checklist, and I can be kind of off mark, but I think advising larger corporations on innovation, and this is what I understand works very best. The rules for innovation. Innovation is not prescriptive. I cannot pass an order and say, hey, look, my organization will be innovative from tomorrow morning. It's not like that. You cannot regiment innovation. There are no work timings. In all the organizations I lead, I have not put any timings. People are free to come at their own will and leave when they feel they don't want to be in office. They can work from home. Workplace setup is not defined. So you keep moving from places, you keep changing. Nothing becomes a routine here. So your brand is innovative. Hierarchy and formalities don't exist. Dress code as long as you wear something. No rigidity on formal wears. Thinking of a different level, it's outrageous. Age has no relevance, it's about impact. It's about the impact you create. I don't hire people based on their qualifications or experience, or education rather. I hire people based on the diversity of projects they have worked on. I hire people who have done things which are quite diverse, divergent. That's where your mind is agile. And safety and security net, if you are looking at, you are not into innovation. You- this is like the antithesis. You cannot be innovative if you're looking at safety and security net. So no rules is the first rule of innovation, as I call it. Routine is the enemy of innovation, and that you will learn as you go along. And we will never run out of innovative ideas. And I'll give you some of the pointers for that. This was put out in 1899. All that had to be invented has been invented, and we know how far we have come since then. The world has a market of about 5 computers. In my house, there are more than five. Apple, it was written off. There's no chance that the iPhone is going to have any significant market share, no chance. And we know it. So I would say that we are among the luckiest generation. If you look at the human race, our history, we are at a point in time that anything you can touch, you have to transform. So this summit that you're hosting on all sectors, I think every sector will be touched and transformed over the next 3 to 5 years. It will be a continuous process. So for this generation, for all of us who exist on this planet at this point in time, have a matchless opportunity to transform the things. So earlier you innovated when you got into a problem, and now if you don't innovate, you will get into a problem. Thank you so much for listening me, and we hope that we will be able to make things happen. Good luck to you and wish you success.